Hi, this is Denise Matthew. I hope you're doing well. I'm here today to talk about the full moon that's happening on February 5th, 2023. And this will be happening at 16 degrees Leo. The interesting thing about this full moon is that it will be sort of showing us a place where maybe you don't want to put energy anymore and you feel like you want to let go. Full moon also talks about our direction. And because we have the gate 13 and also the gate 7 being highlighted, those are two energies that are in the cross of the Sphinx. So it's giving us this idea that we are kind of looking for direction, but it's also saying that change is inevitable and it's better to walk with the change or flow with the change as opposed to holding on to something that no longer serves you. And this is kind of the last push to say, okay, what don't you want to bring into 2023? And I did that when I talked about the overall 2023 transits, and basically just saying that, what is it that you don't want to bring into 2023 and what are you okay to bring into 2023? Like generally we don't want to bring baggage of things that, why didn't I do well in this? Or how come this didn't work out? Why did this relationship fizzle out? Or things like that. I mean, we could look at it and say, what did I learn from it? What can I take into the future? And then let that go and start afresh. And this is where we're kind of saying, okay, this is your full moon. Have a good look at your life. Where do you feel that there may be just a few things you need to tweak before you're sort of ready and raring to go in the new year ahead? And this is kind of the last call to say, okay, let's do this now, and let's open the door for some brand new growth in our lives. So with that said, let's get into the details. So as I said, the full moon is happening at 16 degrees Leo. So if you check your astrology chart, you can get one of those at astro.com. It will tell you which house or what part of your life that this full moon might be activating, because that can really bring even more focus to themes and how they might play out in your life. So it might be worthwhile if you have an opportunity to do that. We have overall a lot of first and fourth line energy. And this really points to this idea of finding security in knowing what we need to know, which means that you're kind of getting the information that you feel that you need to move forward in your life. It is going to build a foundation. And with the fourth line, we also have this idea of standing in your truth, doing what feels right for you, and moving to the beat of your own drum, because ultimately the fourth line gets influence from being able to continue on the path that you've decided that is right for you and not being swayed by other people. And even if you don't have a fourth or first line profile, that doesn't matter. You can still be influenced by this energy in the way that the themes are going to play out, or the energy will be playing out. The moon and the earth are in the gate 7 line 4, which is called the abdicator. And this talks about the direction of your leadership. The gate 7 is logical collective energy. And because of that, it is democratic leadership. It's not tribal leadership like you would find with the gate 45. This is instead something that is for the people and is voted in by the people, and you are supported by the people. When we get to the fourth line, this is where we're saying it's kind of the end of the road, because for some reason, the job that you're doing, the leadership that you're bringing to the table, whatever you are spearheading is no longer correct for you. It may mean that you don't have the support that you used to have, or it also might mean that you just don't feel you have the energy to do it any longer. In the end, it could talk about even being burnt out by the job and just not having the ability to continue on. This talks about the sacrifices that we can make when we are in a leadership role, because sometimes for the betterment of the collective, we need to step down because that's the best decision to make for everybody who's involved. So for instance, recently Jacinda Ardern, Prime Minister of New Zealand, she stepped down from her post because she said she didn't have what it took any longer to be a prime minister. Based on her body graph, she doesn't have the gate 7, but she does have the gate 31, which is a harmonic. And I don't really know what her profile is, because if she had a fourth line profile, this would be even more indicative of why that happened. But having said that, still the example of what she's done is very indicative of what this energy can look like. Alternatively, as I said, this is a theme that you have that maybe you don't have the support anymore that you need to continue on with something. So the theme for this full moon is understanding that opportunities come and go in our lives, and so do leadership roles. So instead of staying on when you lose support, or stay the course of something that just doesn't bring you good energy, or it doesn't kind of light you up anymore, and you kind of hang on, then that's when this energy is going to get a little bit more vocal about moving you along into a new opportunity. And that's what this energy is really talking about. We add in Saturn in the gate 30 line 3, acceptance. It reinforces the idea of letting something go because you sort of have come to the end of the line. Whatever it is that you need to let go of is something you probably can easily see in your life, but whether or not you're willing to accept the truth is really your choice. If we bring in the full 35-36 emotional channel that's activated between Mars and Neptune, it's just one more indication that change is afoot, because this is a channel of transitoriness, or where the pendulum of life swings between change and the cycles of life. Mars in the gate 35, line 1, talks about wanting to hold on to something whose cycle is closing, with the belief that if you don't have that thing anymore, whatever it is, who will you be? Now, once again, change is a key word with this energy, because it's only through change that you can have new life experiences. When you do move forward, you have an ability to gain deep insight about what you've gone through, and it can even be instrumental in your evolution. If you can sift through your internal process, deciding what matters and what doesn't, you have the potential to have true growth and an opportunity to evolve through your experiences and move on. Neptune in the gate 36 line 2 gives you the clarity on where change is necessary by showing you that the model, whatever it is for you, is broken. It's also where you can see even clearer where things are no longer working in your life. The message is that if you take a leap of faith, you'll probably have the help that you may want and need for your transition. The Sun in the gate 13 line 4, fatigue, also encourages you to release your hold on whatever it is that you need to release, because it's time to move on. It can also talk about a much needed break from the cacophony of the world, because even if we're great listeners and we're there when we need to be for other people, sometimes we need to take a break and have some peace ourselves as well. And this energy is encouraging you to do just that. Mercury in the gate 61 line 2 says that if you're open and aware, you might hear a message or have an inspiration that gives you even more clarity about where you want to move in the future. But only after you have allowed a cycle in life to close can you really start to move forward into what that new thing is for you. With the full 6124 channel that we have activated between the North Node and Mercury, there's a good chance you might want to have all the answers about what will happen in your future, or even have answers to questions that have been eluding you so far. But as we know, the awareness that comes from the 6124 channel is something that takes time, and it's about clarity when clarity comes. It's a universal secret that is revealed at just the right time in our lives when we need that information. Uranus in the gate 2 line 2, genius, can give you insight into the direction that you may want to move toward. And it also says that you might be surprised where you're pulled to go. The interesting thing about Uranus is sometimes it will take us somewhere where we get the guidance that we need, and then it'll eventually lead to a new path. We see one thing, we start to realize that there's something new that we want, and we wouldn't have known it had we not seen the first thing before we saw the new path that we're going on. Finally, Venus in the gate 63 line 1 reminds you that though advice is wonderful, you are the one that has all the answers that you need within you already. This is the energy of the spiral of life, where all ends are beginnings, meaning that only when you close a chapter can you write a new story of you. Now, even though all the planets are moving forward now, many of them are revisiting old territory, and this full moon is encouraging you to make sure that whatever you're taking forward with you throughout the year is for your highest and best. Anything that doesn't serve you doesn't have a place in your future. If you make the best decisions for you, then this full moon can clear the way for a beautiful new beginning, one that can only happen when you have the courage to let go and step into uncharted territory. Well, that's it for the full moon. I hope you have an amazing full moon, a wonderful month ahead. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you again soon.